Hi, I'm Michael Glabicki with Rusted Root, and I'm going to explain my rigs today. I have two rigs going on. I have an acoustic rig and I have an electric rig, and I'm going to start with the electric rig. So with the electric rig, I start off with a Pedalboard preamp, which is just a good game changer for me. I love it. I clean up the low end a little bit, just bring out some of the real sizzly high stuff. And just the sound of it is really awesome. Love it. And the boost is great. The distortion is real slight, but I'm really into the real slight stuff. Just real subtle tone shifts throughout the night, especially for the rhythmic stuff. And then same sort of thing, fork loin, just a slight touch of distortion. The Cali 76 compressor, which I only have sort of, I have a lot of the dry peeking through, so it's really just sort of like a back parallel compression kind of thing on the guitar. And then I go into the Mellotron, which it's pretty crazy. You just use it every once in a while. Little touches of it go a long way. And then the color box, which again is a very subtle thing, but then I tend to like really crank the mids a lot and just get that sort of balls out rock sound. Just for very specific parts. This T-Rex Michelangelo, again I have it set up real slight crunch. And then the Sonic Stomp I leave on all the time. I just really like the feel of it, sort of the depth it gives. And this Panther delay is my favorite delay, hands down. And then I use the flashback just for sort of a slapback guitar sound. So pretty much before I start a song on electric, I'll pick the sort of subtle distortion tone that I want. And it might be just this with the compressor. It might be no compression in these three, which is just gives a little bit more of a plume to it. And that's what I start with. And then for various parts during the songs, I might pop this on for a section, pop this on with the delay for a section, and there's a lot of pedals here, but I really am very simple about it. I don't do a lot other than sort of set up the song, and then for parts here and there, enter into the distortions and the delays and stuff. Instead of having, I guess the other option would be to have a few amps out here, or maybe 4 amps, and then switch between them. This is sort of like my 4 amps. So for the electric, I use the Schroeder amp, and I don't know how many people are familiar with it, but it is the most incredible amp in the world. It really is. I mean, it sort of just like blew my mind when I heard it. I played a solo show actually in Chicago, and Tim Schroeder brought the amp down, and it was just so open and so hi-fi sounding. It reminds me of like when you listen to music on a boombox, and then you listen to that same song in a soundtrack in a movie theater, and how it's just super wide and 3D, and you can hear things like move in the middle of the sound. That's what this does. So like when you go into this, it's not all compressed up and mushed up. It's very deep. You can hear delays travel through the middle section of the tone. It's very wide. It's just amazing. And part of what I love about it is this mid slope. And what it is he found a way to pass this mid EQ goes past the preamp section and goes straight to the power amp. So it's sort of like uncompressed a little bit even more. So you get these sort of like the mids kind of float out front, and then you have this really wide sound behind it. Again, I think that's part of what creates that 3D effect with it. And then along with this, I'll use the Fuchs Blackjack 221, and I just like it. It's just just a good solid sound. Really has a great tone to it. I usually I mainly use them together on stage, and I let the sound man kind of pick between the two. Because again, it's very subtle when you added the Fuchs into the Schroeder. So it's only when he needs it, sort of. Yeah. So the Schroeder goes into this Jackson Ampworks speaker cab. They're just, I mean, these cabinets are amazing. The way they're ported, there's nothing really like it. I can't really explain it. They do it in such a way that it's just very detailed and open and clear. But yeah, it gives you everything you need. I wish I knew more about how they port, because they're the only company that they have a patent on what they do. I wish I knew more about it to explain it, but if people want to understand it more, I would go to the website and read about it. So for electric, I play all Tellies. There's this black custom, and we put Lawler pickups in this. This is just, I think, a Japanese guitar, and we put the Lawlers in. It sounded great with both sets of pickups, but the Lawlers really brought it to life. Something about this guitar when I played it really sounded great. Really very direct sounding, very punchy. So this is set up for standard tuning, and it's my only electric that I have in standard tuning. It really sits well there, and I keep the tone knobs open, and I keep usually the volumes up, and let my the subtle distortion pedals do the switching between tones. Sometimes I'll bring it down a little bit, but I usually just keep it wide open. On this guitar, I use the D'Addario 11s, medium gauge. And that's it for that one. This one is an ash body, and it's a deluxe. Very different sounding than the other ones. Kind of like a very solid tone with a lot of shimmer on top. And I just usually always leave it in the bridge pickup. And I think with this one, you can do the middle section, and you can press that, and it puts them out of phase. But I don't even do that. I just keep it in the bridge pickup the whole time with the tone knob all the way open. On this guitar, I go between G tuning and D minor tuning. And with that Schroeder amp, this guitar really is a good fit with that. It just sounds incredible. And then this is one we built. Let's see, it has a switch, and so you can go up here, and you can get just this one and the bridge pickup. This is a gold foil pickup, and then these are actually two bridge pickups, which I got the idea from another Telly that I had that was a custom shop one with the two bridge pickups, and I just really like the tone. It's pretty much the only mid pickup that I'll use is a bridge pickup here in the middle. I don't know why, it just seems to sound right. So again, you can go 5 ways on this, and then when you get down to here, if you want just the neck position and the bridge, you can pop this switch here. And this has got like a very wide open, almost acoustic sound to it. A lot of transparency in it, and it's fun to play and fun to sing to. The voice sits really well in it. No, the strings I think on this one are the same. It's the D'Addario 11s. This is a Nash guitar. This has the Lawler pickups in it. Just a character guitar. It has a ton of character. kind of this like it's just raunchy, like, but really sweet sounding at the same time. And this one I will use in the neck pickup on as well, in the mid setting. This is primarily, this is almost always tuned to D minor only. It sits well there. I write a lot of songs in D minor. This one voices really well with that, and I just keep everything wide open on it most of the time. But it's a great guitar. Well, Nash guitars, they'll age it. So this was new when I bought it, and it looked just like this. So they'll age it, and they have ways of going about it that actually makes the guitar sound a lot better, not just look cool. So I mean, that's their thing, and they do a great job at it. It's just an awesome guitar. I can't say enough about it. So with the acoustic rig, you have to start with the cable that goes into the guitar, the acoustic guitar. Each of my acoustics has 2 pickups in it. So there's one in the bridge, which is an LB6 LR Baggs original, like the first one they came out with. And then I have in the sound hole, I have the Sunrise magnetic pickup. Now the thing was, you know, normally you have to go out and buy some sort of preamp that rides inside the guitar, and you're very limited as far as the fidelity, or you know, you can only get so much out of the commercial stuff. So what I did is I went to Sunrise pickups, and they had this tube preamp for their Sunrise pickup, and I had them modify it to where this is a stereo cable now, and I can run 2 pickups through the cable at a really high level, so there's not any loss by the time it gets to the preamp, because it runs phantom power up to the jack here, and there's electronics in here that, you know, so I'm able to split the signal and run a very strong clean power down the line for each pickup. Now there's no electronics inside the guitar. There's just the pickups, and they're wired straight to the jack. So all the electronics that normally you would put inside the guitar goes between the jack and that preamp, this tube preamp. Now this has tubes in it. Just this bottom Sunrise preamp, and so this is the cable. This goes into the input. It's split here inside the preamp, run through some tubes, some stages that warm it up and make it sound really good. It has a whole lot of definition to it, and balls to it. So a lot of the, I call this the uncarved block sound up to this point. A lot of guitars that have preamps in them that you'll buy at a music store, even if they're really good, sometimes you'll get to the gig and you'll play it on stage and it sounds really nice by itself. And I know you've seen like tons of bands, and you see someone playing acoustic guitar and you can't tell what they're doing. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like it just doesn't cut through. The lows are real mushy. The low mids don't hold up. The high mids are usually harsh and brittle, so you usually have to take those out anyhow. This is sort of the best I could do over 15 years, sort of customizing a sound. And I spent a lot of time. I used to bring out real expensive pieces of studio gear, rack mount EQs, and kind of dial it in the way I wanted. And eventually I just kind of realized, just sort of let it be, and then sort of tune it to the club and let the sound man do it. So out of here you've got the Baggs pickup, which is in the bridge, is sent out of here and it's sent into this DI, and then you've got the Sunrise pickup sent out of here and it goes to the other side of the DI. So this gets sent straight to the sound man, so he has control over each pickup. Sometimes the depending on what venue you're playing, the piezo pickup in the bridge is a little bit more acoustic sounding. So if you're in a smaller, more intimate club, you'll tend to go maybe that route. When we were on tour with Robert Plant and Jimmy Page and playing these big arenas, it was more about the magnetic pickup and getting sort of a ballsy tone. And it was awesome playing the huge arenas with just like, you know, an acoustic guitar and making it just blow people away. It was really cool. And then also the Sunrise gets sent out of an XLR here, and then I bring it back down. So for this is going to go, this LR comes out, and I send it to the pedal board and then to 2 amplifiers on stage. Now in order to do that, this is such a strong level that this 2 preamp transforms the sound into, brings it up to line level and even a little bit stronger. So this XLR comes out, and I run it into a reamp box, this radial reamp, and then you can kind of make it the same volume and impedance as an electric guitar pickup. So I just kind of adjust that till it sounds good, and then this cable comes out of it, and this gets sent straight to my pedal board, where I use a lot of distortions and delays and some reverb. So this is the electric side that we went over already. That's the electric side. This is the acoustic side. So out of the radial reamp box, it gets brought back down to the right impedance. Same as an electric guitar, standard electric guitar. And now with the EQ, this 10-band EQ, because you have the bronze around the nickel on the acoustic strings, it tends to be a little bit too wide, too much aura around the sound that you want. So I tend to pull out all the lows, all the real super high stuff, and really just punch up the 1K frequency, and that gets it back to more like an electric guitar string. So then out of here, I go to just a mute switch so I can turn it on and off during the show. So after the mute switch, I go to the distortion boxes, and I pretty much just line them up like this, where this is the Gristle King distortion box, and it kind of just is, again, it's a lot of subtle gain boosts and slight harmonic distortions going on, some heavier distortions. Between this GT500 and this, I just kind of build what I want, the tone, and get it as thick as I want. And then at the end, I got this boost that can just take it up no matter what the sound is. And then I go into the Boss reverb, and right now I have the reverb going into the delay. It just gets kind of like a creepier sound to it. So that's what I do. And then out of here, we go back to a splitter box, and the main amp is the Mesa Lone Star, and this is like the best amp for acoustic guitar to try to do this with. This has everything that you need, and a lot of like really strong EQ that you can shape even more into what you need to sound like. Traditionally, like with electric guitar, you try to get like a real pure tone. With acoustic guitar, it's actually, you use a lot of EQ and a lot of stuff to like get it to sound natural again. And it sounds counterintuitive, but it's really what works. So between the 2 channels, I switch between the 2 channels a lot. And I have the clean channel set to 100 watt and the dirty channel set to 50 watt. And then the other amp that I use along with it is the Bad Cat. And on this one, This is an older version of the Bad Cat. We mainly just go clean, volume, and a tone switch, and then every once in a while I'll kick this second channel in, and it really, whatever they did to make it sound like two completely separate amps, they did it really well. You can keep this clean this clean channel really present, and then just when you hit the switch and knock this guy on, it just kind of like comes up underneath, and it just sounds like 2 amps going through one speaker cab. So it's pretty much like 2 amps here, and then this amp along with it. So along with the pedals here, I'll set up, you know, kind of like the distortion level that I want through multiple distortions and layers of distortion. But then I can also just, this is a boost on the Mesa amp, and then this is the channel switch on the Mesa. And so this will kick on the real heavy distortion, crazy stuff. And on the Bad Cat, the screen light is the clean channel, and that stays on the time. And then when you hit this on, this just brings in that other channel along with the clean. So there's a lot of variety there when you get it all going. And then for the speaker cabs, I actually run everything into a cab clone, which is the Mesa Boogie speaker simulator. So this guy here. So the amp head runs into here, and this simulates just the speaker cabinet part. And I tend to like that. It just keeps it more, keeps a cleaner stage. Not a lot of mic stands, because it would get kind of crazy with too many mic stands. And I just run out of the cab clone into the old Ignator cabinet, and this custom cabinet that Mark, my guitar tech, built, and we spent some time tuning the cabinet for the acoustic guitar. That's him over there. So for the acoustic guitar, I've had many over the years. This is a cheap Martin. It's maybe, I get, when I say cheap, it's around $800. It's not cheap, but it's not one of the $3,000 ones. And they're it gets banged up a lot, it cracks a lot because there's not a lot of bracing along the edges. I think that's how they, see there's some cracks in here. But these guitars get beat up on the road a lot, and after a while I used to bring out like the early versions of the Larave's that were built in Canada and some other really expensive guitars, and they just got trashed, with flying and everything. So what I ended up doing is going to cheaper guitars, and I found out a lot of the cheaper guitars sound better live with the pickups. They react to the pickups better for some reason. So this is a cheaper version of a Martin. It's a D16 GT, and it's my favorite Martin of all, even just acoustically sitting down. I went to the factory and sat there and tried out all their acoustics and everything, and then I sat down with just these once I found out I really liked this, and tried out maybe like 8 different ones of these and picked the one that I really liked, and that's what I did. So this is I mean, live it's a good. It's still got a lot of balls to it and a lot of rock to it, but it's got more of an intimate sound to it. Tuning, this one goes between standard, G, and D minor, as well as D sometimes. I mainly play 4 tunings on acoustic, and it's standard, which quite a bit of songs, and then D minor has quite a bit of songs in the set. Dadgad has a few, and then the G tuning has like a couple. And so they all kind of go around. But this one, I guess I should say that this one mainly stays D minor and standard tuning. That's sort of like where it sounds the best. Now, the strings on this is a set of 12 gauge Dunlop Acoustic. This is an old Alvarez, and this has got a lot of volume to it. It really kicks and really cuts in the mix. That's how I would describe it. It mainly sounds best in like a G tuning, but it also goes between standard and D minor. We just taped it on there. Sometimes they would, like I said, they get beat up. Sometimes they get thrown around on flights, and this is an older pickup, so it's got the older magnets in it, so it's kind of heavy. So when they toss it at the airport, you know, sometimes the end will snap a little bit, and we have to tape them in there. So, but I mean, it sounds great though. Now this is everybody's favorite. Everybody sort of talks about it at the end of the night. This is an old Guild. You know, I think this is the late 70s or early 80s. I started off with an early 72, like 1972 red version. It was a Cherry D25, and the D25 would have a flat back. And then the ones after those early 70s years they started doing this arch thing in the back. And my favorite was the flat, but that one sort of moved on. But I remember getting it at a used shop for like $200, and now you can't get them for like less than $1,000 because everybody wants them. But this one sounds the closest to that red one, and it's just an amazing guitar, and it's built to last. These things will last forever. They're just crazy strong. So this guitar stays between Dadgad and Dad Fad. So Dad Fad's the G minor or D minor. So yeah, it's in Dadgad right now. Thanks for checking out my rigs, and more rigs. Check us out at rustyroot.com or hit me up on Facebook. We've got a lot of new songs coming out, a lot of new material that we tend to like to give away for free, so check that out. And yeah, come out and see us live. That's where it's at. That's what it's all about.